Holidays are over, and the financial decisions you've made, well, they're over too. So let's make plans for this brand new year with new beginnings, with new financial resolutions that will stick. Lisa Bradley went on the Oprah Winfrey Show in debt and came out of it in a much better financial place, and she is here to help us out. And Lisa, you say the first thing we need to do is understand our values and attitudes about money.
Absolutely. You have to know what you are doing. If you set goals that are realistic to you, then you're more than likely going to stick with the goals. Set short-term goals, mid-level goals, high-level goals for yourself so that you will be successful and will not fail. An example of a short-term goal is simply deciding I'm going to pay more than the minimum amount on my credit card this month. An example of a long-term goal could be I'm going to start an emergency fund and add to that continuously each month. Because if you find things that matter to you, that reflect your value systems and your attitude toward money, you're going to be more successful at sticking with that plan.
Why should we write down these resolutions?
It is very important to write down, because if we think it, we're easily going to forget about it. We're not going to follow it. It's not clear what we're trying to do. It's just an idea, but you want to be able to put that idea into action. And if you write it down, you can also write out an action plan. What is your goal? What are the steps that it's going to take to reach that goal? Why is that goal important to you? And what do you hope to gain? If you're very clear on that, every time you have a setback or a struggle, that can be your point or your reference place that you go back to in order to have some success.
And seeing it will remind you.
Absolutely. It reminds you. It gives you a chance to deal with your spouse, your family, your friends, and your I said family. But, it gets everybody to buy in and holds you accountable.
We should monitor our progress on a regular basis.
Yes, we should look at that. If we know what we owe, then we're more apt to pay more attention to it. I used to live in a place where I didn't have to open my bills. I didn't pay attention. If I didn't know it, I felt like I didn't owe it, and I did what I wanted to do with it. So you want to make sure that you are monitoring. Pull out those statements, pull out those checkbooks, and look at them every month. Track your spending so you can see where your leaks are, where your strengths are, where you can find money to save. To monitor it and be realistic. And it takes discipline. Just set aside 2 hours a week. Sit down with yourself, preferably with your spouse if you're married, or your partner, and decide to really look at that and make sure that you're still on track with what you're doing.
Do it now. Don't wait or procrastinate.
We love to procrastinate. We love to put everything off. I'm going to start that diet after the party. I'm going to start saving after I buy a new car. You need to do it now. If it's a commitment that you have, go ahead and make the commitment to live in that present and do it now.
All right. Have a variation in the goals. You talked a little bit about that, the short term, the mid-term, the long-term goals. Why is that important?
That is important because you want to feel some success as you go along. If you start to go right into something and you're not clear, or you start to fail, it's easy to give up and walk away from it. So if you set a little goal and you win and you see that you've accomplished it, you're going to be more successful. And oftentimes when we talk about budgeting and money, it's punitive. We look at it as a negative an experience. We don't want to budget. We don't want to save. We don't want to change our styles. But if you see that these habits are winning and creating successes for you, then it'll make it easier for you to progress and make better choices and stick with your commitment to financial success.
Gotcha. And finally, be resilient. When you make a mistake, it's not the end of the world.
Absolutely. I make mistakes all the time with my money. Even with the worst experiences that I've had to learn to brush myself off and come back. You've got to be prepared to know that you're going to make mistakes and you're going to have setbacks. But again, if you go back to that first point of looking at your values, why am I doing this? Why is it important? And what's making me make this decision impulsively? It's either going to get you to do one thing, not do it again, or it's going to help you to decide, why am I doing this, and I'm not going to make that decision. So it's very important to make sure that you are aware that there are going to be mistakes.
All right, I feel good about starting this new year. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.